Hello, my dear friends. I'm Tama, and welcome back. Have you ever felt that burning in your chest when someone wronged you? That tempting voice promising relief through revenge? You are not alone. Today, we'll explore why this fire burns within us and how we might transform it into something far more luminous. When I was still walking the path toward enlightenment, I encountered a merchant who cheated me out of my last coin. I had offered to help him carry his heavy sacks to market, and in return, he promised me food for 3 days. Yet when our work was done, he laughed and walked away, leaving me with empty hands and an emptier stomach. For many nights, I lay under the stars plotting how I might expose his dishonesty to others, how I might see him suffer as I was suffering. This is the nature of revenge, my friends. It whispers to us that justice and satisfaction are the same thing. It tells us that our pain can only be healed by creating pain in return. But let us look deeper into this shadow, for within it lies a profound teaching about the human heart. Revenge feels so righteous because it speaks to our deep need for balance. When we are harmed, something within us becomes tilted, uncentered. The ancient part of our mind believes that only by tilting our aggressor in the opposite direction can we restore equilibrium. This is why revenge fantasies feel so satisfying in the moment. They promise us that our pain has meaning, that our suffering will be acknowledged and repaid. Yet observe what happens when we follow this path. I spent 3 days planning how to expose that merchant. 3 days when I could have been seeking food, shelter, or simply resting in the present moment. The revenge consumed more of my energy than the original wrong ever did. I was no longer living my life. I was living in reaction to his actions. He had not just taken my coin, he had taken my peace, my presence, my very agency over my own existence. This is the first noble truth about revenge, dear friends. It binds us to our pain rather than freeing us from it. When we plot against those who have wronged us, we become prisoners of their actions. We hand over the keys to our happiness and ask them to keep us locked in suffering until they have paid their debt. But what if they never pay? What if justice never arrives in the form we imagine? Do we remain prisoners forever? The Buddha taught that holding onto anger is like grasping a hot coal with the intent of throwing it at someone else. You are the one who gets burned. Revenge is simply anger with a plan, and no matter how elaborate that plan becomes, we remain the ones holding the burning coal. True healing begins when we realize that our worth is not determined by how others treat us. The merchant's dishonesty revealed something about his character, not mine. His actions arose from his own suffering, his own fear, his own confusion about what brings genuine happiness. When we can see our perceived enemies as fellow beings trapped in cycles of suffering, compassion begins to bloom where hatred once grew. This does not mean we become passive in the face of wrongdoing. There is a difference between revenge and wise action. We can protect ourselves from further harm. We can speak truth to power. We can work to prevent others from being hurt in the same way. But we do these things from a place of compassion rather than hatred, from a desire to heal rather than to harm. The most powerful response to those who wrong us is to refuse to let their actions determine who we become. When someone spreads lies about us, we can choose to embody truth more deeply. When someone treats us with cruelty, we can choose to cultivate greater kindness. This is not weakness, dear friends. This is the strength of a mountain that remains unmoved by the storms that rage around it. I never did expose that merchant's dishonesty, but I did find food that day by helping an elderly woman carry water from the well. In choosing service over revenge, I discovered that my hunger was satisfied not by his suffering, but by my own compassionate action. And in that quiet act of kindness, I learned something enduring. That healing begins not with punishment, but with presence. When we return to the heart, even in the face of hurt, we water the seeds of peace, not just in ourselves, but in the world around us. As we close today's reflection, I invite you to share this teaching with someone who may need it. In the comments, tell us about a time you chose compassion over revenge. Your story may guide another. If this message brought you peace, offer a like as a small gift of gratitude, and subscribe with the bell to stay close to these weekly teachings. Until we meet again beneath the Bodhi tree, may forgiveness bring you peace, and compassion give you strength.